This is Genotypes and Phenotypes. Now, this is the first video, and we can see here we have question number 1. It says green peas that are wrinkled. And now throughout this series of videos, we will be using the Mandel's traits of peas. And so this is what we will be going off of today. And so we want to use that. Now the first one, green peas. Now the green peas are actually recessive, and the letter for that would be Y. And now they don't need to have a homozygous in front of that because it is a recessive, so it would automatically be homozygous if it was recessive. And now the second one, which would be wrinkled. Now that is also recessive, so it would be 2 R's there, because the dominant one would be R, so we use that letter. And now we want to make sure that they're in alphabetical order because R comes before Y. Number 2, homozygous tall plants with hybrid yellow peas. Now this one says homozygous, which means they're the same letter, so it would be T and a second T because it's homozygous dominant and tall is dominant. And then the hybrid, which means heterozygous basically, and that would be yellow peas. And the yellow peas are actually dominant. And once more, we're keeping that in alphabetical order. Number 3, dihybrid for pod color and flower color. Now, when we put dihybrid, this means it's hybrid for both the pod color and the flower color. Instead of putting heterozygous for each or hybrid for each, we can just put dihybrid at the very beginning. So this one would be a capital G, and then a lowercase g, and then a capital P and a lowercase p. And again, that is in alphabetical order. We go to the second part, right down here. We can see here we have a capital R and a lowercase r, and then 2 capital Y's. Now, because one is capital and one is not capital, this would be heterozygous. And now R, if we look on our 7 traits of peas, it says that the R is dominant and it is round. So heterozygous, round. And now we need the and. Now this is my and symbol, but we need to have an and there. And then, as we can see here, there are 2 Y's there. Now since it is dominant, which means it's capital, means we do have to have the homozygous in there. Unlike, like I said before, we would not need the homozygous if it was recessive trait. So, like I said before, we have to put homozygous. And then the Y is yellow. Now something that is often forgotten is we need to specify what's yellow. And now in this situation, it would be the P that's yellow. So we need to remember that. Number 2, we have the capital A and the lowercase a, and the capital P and the lowercase p. Now this is a dihybrid, just like up there in number 3. This is also dihybrid, so we can just put dihybrid right at the beginning. And then we just go into the A, which is right there. And now, the A for that would be axial. So we're just going to write that. And of course the and sign. And then purple. Because again, that's dominant. And now number 3, we can see here that we have 2 lowercase for both of the phenotypes. So we don't have to write hetero or homozygous at all. So all we have to write is smooth, because the S is smooth for recessive, and then we need to put the and symbol, and then short, because tall would be the dominant trait. Now, I'm sorry, this is actually supposed to be constricted, not smooth. Sorry. Constricted.